Okay guys, today I have a discussion, I think, which I may not have the correct answer. Over the weekend, just a few days ago, we all see something blew up really big, right? There was an invoice or a quotation from one of the Mercedes-Benz dealers that clearly shows a bunch of miscellaneous fees, and then the lithium-ion battery, 120,000 ringgit, and it blew up. I am very sure the car owner wasn't very satisfied with it, hence he took a picture and uploaded it or something. So I have no idea who the car owner is. I have no dealings whatsoever with that particular dealer, and basically I have nothing to do with all this. It's just that when I saw that, I know for one thing, these batteries, especially the early generation ones, earlier as in the first batch of all these kind of European hybrids, right? The S-Class hybrid, the Audi A6 hybrid, and all this, right? All these components, they have suppliers, of course, and at that juncture, costs has always been the biggest concern, right? It is not something cheap, it is not something affordable, it is expensive, it is high-tech, it is expensive, okay? You have to understand this. As Malaysians, for now, as Malaysians, there are no practical reasons to own or buy a hybrid for Malaysians if your primary concern is to save costs, okay, be it fuel or maintenance or whatever. Because in Malaysia, petrol prices are cheap, electric prices are cheap, there are no congestion charges, there are no emission zones, there's none of that. All right, that's why in Malaysia, the only reason that people are buying hybrids, which is supposed to be something expensive, supposed to be high-tech, supposed to be costly, because it brings forth other benefits, okay? But Malaysians, we buy hybrids because of the hybrid tax incentives, and hence the price point of the cars come down lower, and we snap them up because Malaysians have a very uneducated mindset that if I were to buy this, everything we tie it back to what's my original buying price. You know, Malaysians are like that. If I bought this for 40,000, it doesn't make sense for me to spend 8,000 to fix it. That's how Malaysians think. But hey, when you buy it at 40,000, you got it for a steal. Doesn't mean that's the actual value of that thing. All right. So let's keep the word steal here. Okay. When you buy a hybrid incentive car, you got it for a steal. That doesn't dictate its value, right? Because comparatively, everything is taxed. So we must compare on the same level. So let's say an E300 hybrid, if you were to bought it at prices that is supposed to be selling, you will be looking at somewhere around 500 over 1,000 ringgit maybe. Remember the BMW Active Hybrid back then? Yes. That's the kind of price we're talking about, all right? A 3 Series Active Hybrid costing 400 over 1,000 ringgit, 5 Series Active Hybrid costing over near 600,000 ringgit. Anyway, I'm not arguing about the ratio between that 120,000 battery with the car, but I'm talking about the mental attitude that we have in Malaysia, okay? There are things that are high-tech, and when you buy them, when you want to enjoy what benefit that it brings forth, there must be a price to pay, okay? You can't have the cake on your hand, holding it while eating it at the same time. You get what I mean or not? There's this saying in English, right? You can't have the cake and eat it. They mean you can't hold it in your hand and at the same time hoping that there's one in your mouth as well. You either hold it or you eat it, right? So all these hybrids, like the Honda City hybrids, the Jazz hybrids, the Ioniq hybrids, the HRV hybrids, all these, you know, they were created for markets where these things make sense, because in a lot of advanced cities or countries, they have zones whereby during certain period of time, in order to control emissions, your car cannot emit anything going in. That means you need to keep your battery charges while you're going through those zones. You have to switch off your engine, and your car just whirs past, you know, in silent, without emitting any emission. If not, you might get charges or get a penalty or something like that. Okay, that's roughly how it is. So so when you buy a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid, you're enjoying the kind of silence it allows you, you know, when you roll off, you know, comfortable cruising, and then it recharges. You're buying something high-tech, right? And you want to enjoy that statement, oh, I buy a hybrid, you know, blah 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 blah. Well, guess what? Batteries cost money. Yep, batteries cost money. You can't run away from it. Now, in terms of the price, right? The first generation parts, right? They are official prices from the factory. They're high, no doubts. They're high. So they can't run away from that. Those are prices that, let's say when Malaysia asks Germany or any other country, and they got a reply, this is the price, and hence that's the price. They can't do anything with it. Then you have the newer generation ones, the plug-in hybrids, where more and more production has been going up globally. Prices have come down, and then you are in a more reasonable bracket per se. But you see a lot of people, when they buy the car at 240,000 ringgit, 40,000 to replace the battery is not something reasonable to them, because to them it's just the battery, you know, blah blah blah. I bought it at 240,000 only, blah blah blah. Don't forget, that car was supposed to be 480,000, right? And the battery will be 10% of its price, right? Not 20%. So let's put it this way: you buy hybrids in Malaysia to enjoy the tax benefits, to enjoy the kind of immediate acceleration, to basically understand that one day you will pay more in order to enjoy your car. For if you're not willing to, you might as well just buy a normal petrol combustion engine that is lighter, that is way easier to maintain, that you will enjoy higher resale value, and get on with it. Because the fuel savings that you get from buying a where's my touch and go? Okay, from buying a hybrid will never be enough for you to offset the price you paid for it. Okay, so let's make it very, very clear. And that's why some of you ask me, oh Bobby, why you know, when you show the HRV, because I understand people who buys HRV. I understand them. They want a family car that is practical, that is cheap to run, cheap to buy, stylish. They just want something like that, you know. They might not be ready with whatever that's supposed to come with an advanced powertrain like a hybrid or a plug-in for that matter. In European countries, in other countries, hybrids generally cost 1/3 more. Okay, I'll give you an example. A plug-in hybrid 5 Series is supposed to cost the same as a 540i. A 540i is not officially launched in Malaysia, but you can walk into a BMW dealer and say you want to buy a 540i, drop your booking, and then they'll import the car for you, and then you can buy it for 600,000 ringgit. Yes, the 530e is supposed to cost 600,000 ringgit. You're paying a premium. It's supposed to be way more expensive than your 530i. Alright? Because in those countries, you drive this car, you have special lanes, right? You have zones where you can go in and at certain times where they couldn't, you can switch off your engine and roll in, which they couldn't. And in Malaysia, in a lot of malls, you get special parking lots. These are all the advantages and benefits that you get, and it's not a zero-sum thing. You get some here, you lose some there. So face it. So for those of you who bought 530i's, for those of you who bought Volvo T5s, T6, or those of you who bought Mercedes 250s, 300s, that you always couldn't get, you are always not allowed to park on those plug-in hybrid charging stations, you may laugh now, right? The evil laughter. Yeah. So I own a hybrid. I have a hybrid car, and I understand that bombs gonna come one day, maybe. But maybe the time I've sold my car, maybe whatever. You buy a car to enjoy the benefits that it give you. You do not buy a car so that one day when you sell it, you're happy. You buy it that day you want to be happy, not when you sell it. Understand? You might as well not buy anything in the first place if you want to be happy, because you're not gonna sell it at a higher price than when you bought it. Right? So, yeah. And you know our table fan? How much are they? 70 ringgit? Why people pay 3,000 ringgit for a Dyson fan? So accountants there, accountants who always claim that I don't know my shit about accounting, explain Dyson to me. A 3,000-4,000 ringgit fan where you can buy one for 200, right? It's the same argument as why do you order roti sardine when roti kosong, or two of it, can make you full? Why people buy 4,000 ringgit vacuum cleaners or 8,000 ringgit vacuum cleaners? Because our life is limited, our life is short. Make the best of it, be happy, enjoy it, and die. Right? Imagine you were born and every day you're thinking about accounting, every day you're thinking about depreciation, every day you're thinking about whether this is worth it or not, whether that is worth it or not, and then you crash and die. There goes your life. Alright? Cheers, guys.